Hello and welcome everyone to Retro Fandango, episode number 181. I'm Kevin, aka Buried on Mars, and I'm here with my buddy Richard, who's also known as Ramvox Comedy.
Hello.
And he was asking me before we started what is on my shirt.
What is on your shirt?
What is that logo?
I kind of want to guess that it's a show that I know of that I've never seen. Is that something with that greatest American hero?
There, you
something
got
like
it.
that? Okay.
You got it. Yeah, that's what it is.
What is the symbol? Like,
I don't know. it was an alien suit that he found, right?
okay, so it's supposed to be some alien marking.
Yeah. So I don't know if they ever explained it on the show. I don't remember. They might have, but
Oh, there you go. Bill, favorite show growing up. See, I think Bill is the only reason that I know this show. Know of
Really?
this show.
You don't remember it from back in the day?
I never saw this as a kid. Like, not even like I know the song, the title song is super famous. But no, like I never saw this thing on TV. It was a regular network TV show and all that.
I think so. And then I think it was on in syndication for a bit.
No, never saw it.
Well, you can watch them on YouTube. All the old TV shows
you
are
know
on
what?
YouTube.
I think I tried that once. I tried that once, maybe after I heard Bill talking about it, and then he's like a teacher. Goes on a bus with some students.
Yeah.
Little flashbacks now.
Yeah.
I think that's
There you
all
go.
I saw.
You have seen the show then.
I guess I did. It left such a big impression on me.
I remember the first few seasons were pretty good. And then the last season was a bit sketchy and then it got canceled. From what I remember. It's been a long time since I watched it. But let's get to some cleaning up. What do we call this? House cleaning before we move on. Cartridge Club this month is playing ActRaiser. So go check that out on the Super Nintendo. RF Gen is playing Axiom Verge, the Metroidvania game. It's a good game. We played it with the Cartridge Club. We were both actually on that episode.
Yep.
Did you ever finish that game? I think you did.
I did. I absolutely did. They're making another one, right? It's coming out not too far from now.
Yes. And it's funny because people are going back are playing Axiom Verge for the first time to get ready for the second game, and it's funny because people are getting lost in the same spots. You know, like where you had to make that jump or whatever, and it's funny. It's like the conversation's coming back. It's all full circle. Don't forget to check out Beat the Bandy this month, playing Skate or Die, and good luck in beating Duke. Apparently, he put a score up so high that no one can catch him. But he still beat the Bandy. Forget beat the Duke. They just give up. He'll be top spot. Go for the silver. Why not? See if it can happen. See if you can.
That was my goal when I did my best.
Beat the Bandy. That's what it's called. Beat the Bandy. It's not called beat the Duke. It's beat the Bandy. It's the mission. I say you get a what is that called? A just beat it if you beat the Bandy.
Oh, okay. I got you. Just beat him.
Just beat Bandy. That's it. All right. That's it. That's all I got. I've done absolutely nothing since the 2 weeks we've talked. I just sat there on my arse and played Xbox in all my free time. That's it.
Thanks for coming out, folks.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
While Bill is here, I can grab his ear. You do have a projector set up in your basement, right, Bill? Can you tell me what kind of a projector you have?
Why are you looking at a projector?
I've been debating this for a long time. Like, I tried one once, but I just bought like some cheapo projector. And I don't know if it was the projector, the way I was showing it, how I had it set up, the lighting, whatever, but it just felt like it hurt my eyes. And I couldn't use it. I had to get rid of it. But I was wondering, like, it was a super cheap one, so maybe that was it. And now I'm back in the situation where I want to have a nice big screen on the wall. So I'm debating, should I just, get a TV, which is nice and easy, put it up there. You can watch it in any lighting,
Yeah.
windows open, windows closed, sounds perfect and easy. But there's still something attractive about the projector, having the screen. And what would be nice is being able to put it up and then, hide the screen and then just move the projector away. And then, you get your space back. You don't have to worry about a big TV up there on the wall all the time. And I'm concerned about that because I'm thinking of putting this in my place of business. So it's not necessarily you want to have a big TV up on the wall, but it is a good spot where you could sit back a good distance and have a nice big projector screen. So.
Okay. That's always been my reason for not even considering them is the light situation, light pollution. Yeah. I mean, you can even see on my back windows there, I got stuff up on the windows. So it's just like black backboard that I put up there because I can't stand any sort of light pollution. And I don't stay up late. I go to bed early. So my time to watch movies is when it's still light out. I don't wait for it to get dark. So if I was a night owl, maybe that would be something. I spent most of my evenings in the dark, but no, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Plus, there's the part of me that I really did enjoy going to movies, like in the theater and seeing the big screen. And I just don't have any interest with interacting with any people anymore. So, even when it's safe to go to the theater and I don't have to worry about catching some deadly plague, it's, I go there and talk to people and everything. When I could just sit in my house and have that nice kind of experience.
I don't know. I find the TV's big enough now that like it kind of fills the gap for me. Like I don't really.
Yeah, that's why I'm so torn because it does sound so much easier just to get a TV, and then it's does everything you need.
Yeah,
stick it up there and that's it. Thank you, Bill. Epson 3200 home cinema. I'll look into that. 3D and 4K. Now you're getting crazy. I don't need anything that fancy.
4K I approve of, the 3D I can't stand 3D. I'm 100% in Joe's camp when it comes to 3D. I just find it so distracting.
Have you been to a 3D movie?
Like recently?
Within the past, I don't know, decade or so when 3D got its revival?
I have, but was it Superman? It was one of those movies where only part of the film was in 3D. So like there was a thing that was like, okay, put on your glasses now. Put on the glasses.
Really? Yeah. Sounds like a funhouse ride.
Yeah. I can't remember what movie it was though. Anyways, yes.
I don't know. I still have not seen a 3D movie or TV show or anything in this, like the modern 3D technology. I remember putting on the little paper red and blue 3D glasses that I got with my 3D coloring book to try to watch Jaws 3D when it came on TV.
There you go, Rocket Sauce. All right.
Hey, Ryan. 2
people watching, right on. IMAX. Bill says the IMAX nature movies are jaw-dropping. I
can believe it.
There was a place in Sudbury called Science North, and they had it's still there, but they would have IMAX movies in 3Ds, and those would look good, but they would have they were only 20 minutes, so that was like it was done within 20 minutes, and it's a different technology than what they have now. Like I have watched a 3D television at I think it was at a Sears home, where they had like the whole setup with the couch and everything like that, and put the glasses on. They had Avatar up there, and I found it so distracting. Like it was you're trying to watch the movie, and it's like you got like people sitting, and you're like just looking at the 3D instead of paying attention to the actual movie.
Yeah, well, I guess you just got to get past that initial phase of of, wow, look at this crazy technology. And then once you get used to it, then you can sit there and focus on the movie. But I haven't hit that either. The only time I've seen a 3D television is in the store. And, I'd look at it and I don't know. I mean, anytime I complain about it before, these 4K and 3D, like the image just, it looks too crisp and too clear. And I
Oh,
like the old, like, there's a certain film, a certain grain, a
yeah, you still
certain
get that.
distance between reality and what's on the screen.
You still get that with 4K movies. It's still all shot on film, so it still
Mhm.
looks like if they do it right, it still looks like it's all shot on film. What's really important with 4K disc, it's really the UHD and the color. Like everything in there is made to make it look more realistic, So it's not as like it gives it a little more dimension, and it's just bright, like really bright colors and that. So you get like a real sense of the cinematography and whatnot.
Mhm.
So I'm all in on that stuff. I like, making the 2D image of the film better. But, and I'm forgetting too, I also had, remember when Sony had their, I don't know if you remember, but it was back in the PlayStation 3 days, but Sony had a 3D television, and it was just a small television that you could buy. And it was a Black Friday sale. It was $75. This thing was normally like $250, and they were selling them out like for $75 on Black Friday. So I said, what the hell? I'll go pick one of those up because I needed a computer monitor anyways. So I thought this would be cool. I could use this for my computer monitor and for my play Gran Turismo with the steering wheel and everything in 3D with the 3D monitor and that, and had the glasses and all that. So I hooked it all up. I got it all set up, and I played a little bit of Gran Turismo, and it gave me a headache. And then I played, I think it was one of the Resident Evil movies, or Silent Hill. It was a Silent Hill game. Sorry, I played a Silent Hill game on it, and that gave me a headache. And then I did try, I can't remember what movie it was again. It was some download. Again, I don't know. I didn't like it. I did not like the effect. So but I thought the monitor's still good. Just if you're not using 3D, it's still, $75 for a monitor. And then maybe like a month later, the thing died. Then you go online and you see the lists of complaints from people about this monitor who paid full price for it too. And apparently there was some chip inside it or something like that comes loose that just makes the entire monitor a complete piece of trash.
There you go.
Good old Sony.
Don't embrace new technology. You got to wait for
It wasn't even new. It was a couple of years old
to get out there and buy those things. And
it wasn't even new. It was a couple of years old at that point. But I think they didn't sell well or whatever. I don't know. It was no good, no fun.
I don't know. My concept of 3D is still back in the 80s. I was in a bank not too long ago, and they had some like hologram thing advertisement on the wall where you go like this and you go like this, and it just kind of the image moves a little bit. I was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Wish I had this in my house.
Yeah. Well, like Science North, they had like it was like beaver going in the water and comes right to you kind of thing, and like, whoa, it's like, when you're a kid, it was.
Those things are great because, like you said, they're short, and that's all it's meant to do. You're supposed to focus on the 3D. That's what you're looking at. And my favorite 3D, 4D experience was back in MGM Studios at Disney World, back like 20, 30 years ago. They had this Muppets 4D show where you go in, you sit in a little stage, and there's a couple of animatronic Muppets around the studio, and then the screen opens up, and then you put your 3D glasses on, and they're doing all like tricks to make things shoot out at the screen, and then Fozzie Bear squirts his flower, and then water falls down on you. And then like 10 minutes later, you're done.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
That's it. That's all you need.
My wife went to a 4D movie once where they had the seat rigged up and everything, where it'd like blow air in your face, and, like the seat moves and stuff. She said it was just horrific.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to watch a movie here and the seat's kicking me in the back.
Yeah, we Well, when I went to Universal Studios on our honeymoon, it was the same deal. They had theater seats worth the, it's like you'd walk into the theater and you'd see like the seats were wet from the people who were there before because of,
Oh
the thing
God.
sprays water and all that. I said, I'm not doing that. I don't. So we walked out of that one, but we did like the Jaws one, which was cool because you're out in a boat. It does the thing, and then
Oh yeah, that's a ride.
Terminator. Yeah, the rides. Yeah, I guess we did more of the rides. Terminator, and you just get like a little mist, right? Like when the Terminator, liquid Terminator explodes, and you get like a little mist. Okay, that's fine. But like when it starts like
a little mist,
water,
isn't that scalding hot metal?
It's supposed to be.
You?
No. Okay, so it was when the Terminator gets frozen with the liquid nitrogen.
Okay.
That's when they spray it with the little water. Like, it was effective because you're watching him get like all frozen and like you feel this little. It's like, am I gonna get frozen too? But
you're gonna get frozen shards of metal in your face.
Yeah. So, and then there's Sony should have gotten a Sony. I don't know what it is with Sony products. Every time I buy one, I get a lemon. My PlayStation 3 had a problem with the Wi-Fi card in it. It never was able to download. Like it just really slowed downloads anytime I download anything on that dumb thing. And I got that Sony TV. It busted. It's the other Sony TV in here. It's got what's it called? I can't remember, but it's like these gray bars that pop up in the image. If there's like a certain amount of gray in the gray palette, you'll see these gray bars. And for most movies, it's fine because like it'll pop up like it has to be like within this certain range of gray. Like if it's not within it, you'll never notice it. So if it's a bright movie like a Muppet movie, you'll never see it. But if it's anything, that's in that gray palette,
Zack Snyder.
I watched that one at work, so I didn't actually see it. But Dunkirk, I got that. Dunkirk was the first 4K movie that I bought, and I got it home and I put it in the player, and that movie's entirely in that grayscale, and those bars are sitting there throughout the whole friggin' thing. So you go look it up online, say what's going on with this thing and all that, and Sony's response is, well, that's normal for an LCD TV. That's just normal behavior for an LCD TV. So no refund. You're not getting anything back for that. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. And then my PlayStation 4, the other day, I haven't turned that thing on in forever, but they were they put out some free games. This was like a month ago or something. So I turned that thing on to download, let's just like unlock them anyways. Maybe not download them, but just unlock them. And the thing it sounds like it's taking off. It's like, I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I'm like, well, maybe there's a disc in there. So I pop it out, and there was a disc in there. It was just a normal Blu-ray. So, and then it quieted down. I'm like, okay, well, that was weird. Let me put the disc back in. Right back up again. I'm like, great. So now anytime there's a disc in there, it just makes this loud, obnoxious noise. I have no luck with Sony products.
Poor guy.
Yeah, that's my... what's that called? First world problem?
Yeah.
This episode? Yeah.
Hey, I'm still dealing with issues with Epic Games there and how much they suck.
Why do they suck? They're giving out free stuff left, right, and center.
Exactly. They put up one of they would sometimes show you what game you're getting, but then recently they started doing that mystery game, like, ooh, it's coming in 6 days and 4 hours and 27 minutes, and I'm waiting, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be a good one because they don't want to tell you what it is. And finally, I wait till the Friday. I click on it. Stupid basketball game.
People were excited about that, though. People were really happy. They're getting their basketball in.
With that game, I guess because it's like a fairly new game, maybe like released within the past year.
Well, and it's the one where it's some sort of anniversary game where they went back that you can play like Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson and all the
basketball game. If you want to play like as Michael Jordan, you can go play NBA Jam.
From on the Super Nintendo. Sure.
Yeah. Or the one, what was that one? Hoops, Street Dunks.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Street Hoops?
The guy with the afro, the crazy over the top one.
Oh.
PS2, Xbox, GameCube era, and NBA Street. Was that it?
Yeah, it was. Wait,
You could play as Michael Jordan in one of those.
could you? I thought I had it. I thought I had. I know what you're talking about.
All right, Rocket Sauce. Jordan isn't in NBA Jam.
NBA Streets.
He confirms NBA Streets.
The heck was the name of that? I had some basketball game. It was like called Hoops or something like that.
I don't doubt that there is a
Street
game
Hoops.
called Hoops,
No, it's Street Hoops.
but I was thinking of NBA Streets. Very arcadey. I think it was like 3-on-3.
Hoops. It's Street Hoops. Yeah.
You know what? I pictured that exact cover and everything, and I've never played that game. I've never owned that game.
It's kind of fun. It's actually fun. It's an arcadey basketball game. So
Arcadey's good.
yeah.
Arcadey is the best. So wait, you wrote something in here about playing games. What game were you playing?
Just that. I've been playing on the Xbox. They've been updating like all these like older games that came out within the past 5 years or so. And they've been updating them to run at 4K and 60 frames per second. So I've just been enjoying that. I played the latest Dirt 5. It's been good times. That's a racing game that you race in the dirt with cars. And I played Wreckfest, not Breakfast, but Wreckfest, which is it's the guys who made the Flat Out games, Bugbear. You know, Flat Out 1 and 2.
What's a Flat Out game?
A racing game. Flat
It's
Out.
a racing game?
Yeah. I did a video on it a long time ago. You might have watched it. You might have commented.
I believe all your videos are gone now.
Yeah, they're not there. Well, those guys, they made this game called Wreckfest, which is like a derby racing game. So you like be racing in a figure eight kind of thing, and you have to dodge the other cars as they're coming around. And then there'll be like a loop on one end, and you're jumping, like you're doing all these jumps and dodging cars coming the other way. It's good times. Mrs. Q-Dog checking in just for a few before school pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you picking up at school? What are you picking up?
Should be school abductions. Gotta watch out for the Q-Dogs.
So jealous of Americans. They got their schools open and they can go to restaurants. They can go on the road and get some road food.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, if you could do all that, you'd just stay home.
Well, I would at least go down the street to a diner. I would do that. I miss diners. And I'd go to a record store. I would do that. I miss doing those things.
So you can't do those things, or you just
They're not open.
should not.
They're
Wow,
not
you
open.
guys are really locked down again.
Yeah. Yeah, they just today they decided, maybe we should open the splash pads for the kids because we're having like a light heat wave, if you will, right now. Although I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. That's what I was doing before I logged on. I was out in the backyard. We opened up the gazebo.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting out back there, and it's 29 degrees, so it's not too hot. There's not a lot of humidity. There's a nice breeze. It's just nice.
Sounds comfortable.
Nice.
I'm in the middle of rainy season, so I gotta stay inside.
Their country is over 65 vaccinated with the first dose. A lot of restrictions are lifted today. There you go.
Yeah, I don't agree with all that. You don't have to wear a mask once you're vaccinated.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like if you got your first dose, okay, everything's good to go. Well,
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are thinking. Just I got stuck with something. Hey, forget all these regulations and precautions.
I agree. I'm not. I don't disagree. I don't.
Give it a little more time. We're all sick of it, but
in their county. In their county, not in their country. Sorry, I can't read. I'm not very
Q-Dog County.
That's where Josh is moving to. He's moving up to Washington State. He'll be in their area. Hey, I saw a movie while Mrs. Q-Dog's here. I saw a movie called what the hell was it called? Without a Trace? It wasn't Without a Trace. That was a TV show.
Isn't that a TV show?
Yeah.
Like a CSI?
Yeah. What the heck was the name of that movie? No Trace? With No Trace?
Trancers?
Leave No Trace. It was a movie called Leave No Trace, and it was about this guy and his daughter, and they're living out in the woods outside of Portland. So I was thinking of the Q Dogs while this guy and the daughter were living out there in the woods. So like he built up like this little camp out there, and they were just, they'd go into town to pick up like some supplies and whatnot, and then come back and they would just hang out in the woods.
Just living off the grid?
Living off the grid, yeah. And then the cops come in and say, hey, what's going on here? I don't think this is right. So then they try to integrate them back into society. Mm-hmm. And the comedy continues from there. But it was a good movie. No, it's not a comedy. It's not a comedy. But it was good. It was a good movie. I liked it. It's called Leave No Trace. And they were I guess in Portland, they have those, what do you call it? Where you ride the cable cars? I don't know. Like they look like they get in the cable car and they just go over the city in a cable car.
Sounds neat.
Yeah. It was cool.
Like Disneyland.
Make a ride out of your transportation. All right. What have you been up to? You've been up to a lot more than I have.
Sleeping.
You got way more here.
Well, I did watch a lot of stuff. I've been watching a whole lot of stuff. I forget what I wrote on there. Okay, yeah. Do you know these? I'm sure you know of them, but I'm sure you haven't seen them. The Gerard Butler fall down movies.
There was one car like that. It's connected to a hospital.
Hey,
there you go. See?
So like when you got to go in for some rough surgery or something, you just enjoy the ride first.
And I think they were going to a hospital or something. I can't remember what they were going to. It looked kind of neat.
That sounds like way too much fun to be having on your way to a hospital.
Well, nobody there looked like they were having fun, but maybe. No, what's a fall down movie?
They something has fallen. Like they all have the same title.
And these are
Olympus. Olympus has fallen. London has fallen, and then something else has fallen.
And they all star Gerard Butler?
Yes, it's all the same movie. He's a Secret Service guy, and then the White House gets taken over. And he's the John McClane one-man army that's got to go in there and like, shoot everybody.
So it's got some
Die Hard vibes. It's got like a John Wick-ish kind of action-y tone of just like pow, 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 shoot lots of guys. And it's 90 minutes. That was the important factor. So I kept seeing it show up on Netflix, and I was like, all right, give it a shot. Dumb fun. Let's see what we got. And it's a stupid movie. It doesn't make any sense. It's hardly realistic.
Which one did you watch?
I watched all of them.
There's Olympus has fallen.
Olympus has fallen. London has fallen, and then another one has fallen.
Angel has fallen. So
That's the one.
Here.
Yes.
Okay.
So I watched the first one, and I was like, you know what? That was stupid. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but they delivered on the action, and it was only 90 minutes. I was like, okay, you get a pass. And then I noticed the other one was on there. So I was like, okay, how are they going to do this again? Because, it's the Die Hard formula. The man in the wrong situation. They blew up the White House. Like how are you going to come back from that? Second movie starts. White House is in perfect condition. Everything's fine. I guess it's like a year later, they
rebuilt it.
Yeah. I've done that before.
Sure.
After all, you Canadians helped burn it down.
That's right.
So the second one is out in London, and like all these world leaders are together, and then, oh gosh, everything's happening. Things are blowing up and people are getting killed. They're killing world leaders left and right. And that was what was nice about the movie. It's totally unapologetic about its violence. It's just, let's be violent. Let's do things. Let's be offensive and just have fun. And it was like, all right, that one wasn't that bad either. It's again, you could look away from the screen for a few minutes every now and then. You're not going to miss much. But then as soon as you start hearing explosions, you look back again. And then I decided to look it up, and I saw, oh, there's another one. And then I checked my coming soon on Netflix. Sure enough, like I had to wait about a week or so, and then the last one came up. Last one was a bit of a stinker, totally disappointing.
Is he
But then
playing the same character in the
he's
movie?
playing the same character, and it's like that's the level of depth of character. In the second one, it's like he and his wife are about to have a baby, and he's writing his letter of resignation at the beginning of the movie. Like, I gotta step away from this, and I'm gonna focus on family life. And then the movie happens, and at the end, he's still sitting there with the letter, and he's like, delete, because he's going to be the super secret agent guy forever. But the thing is, he's so old. He ages terribly in these movies. By the third one, he just looks like such a sad old man. And you're trying to remember, like, this was like Leonidas in 300, and he was all chiseled and rough.
Well, that movie was 20 years old now.
I guess, but he's got the saggy dog cheeks, and yeah. But the thing is, I looked it up after that. They're still making more. Like they've got plans for 3 more of these movies to come out. So they're probably going to come out like every 2 years or something. They're trying to make TV shows out of it. They're just chasing that money.
I never even heard of this.
I can't understand why anyone would, because they're really not great. It's just that it's like if you sit down and watch it for 90 minutes, you're like, all right, whatever. I saw a couple of cool things. And I got hooked. I watched them all. It's like watching the Resident Evil movies. They're trash, but
Yeah,
there's something about it.
Yeah.
It's like I don't feel bad about
Right.
having that fast food.
Yeah, well, sometimes you need some of that. It makes you appreciate the good stuff.
Yeah.
The bad stuff, like when you watch something bad, and then you watch something that's halfway decent right after it, you like
and if you're paying
appreciate it.
attention, you do appreciate and you do learn from it. You can see like, okay, now I understand why that doesn't work and why that works.
Yeah.
And you can pull that stuff out.
Yeah.
Another movie in the same vein, but admittedly a bit better, is something called Avengement. I also saw that on Netflix. It's a British film, probably from just like a year or two ago. And it's another one of those John Wickish kind of modern action movies where it's just super violent at times. The one guy who just takes everybody out. But that one was pretty fun. That one I enjoyed more. It's a little stupid, but
And it's called
delivers on the
Avengement.
action. Avengement. So if you think of Avengers,
Oh, here it
change
is.
the ending. And it's a guy with some guy with like wacky looking teeth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scott Atkins.
That's not bad. That's not a bad movie. There are a couple times in the movie I'm like, wait a minute, how did that happen? They didn't explain that. And later on in the movie, they explain it. It's not bad. If you want like a quick action movie, that was kind of fun.
90 minutes.
That was my dumb fun category. Then I wrote in a silly fun category. Do you know the TV show The PJs?
Is it a cartoon?
It's a stop motion animation sitcom from Eddie Murphy back in
okay.
like 99, 2000.
Right.
I was digging through the trash on Tubi a while
You
back,
found
and
the
I noticed,
PJs?
hey, the PJs are here. I remember that show. I didn't watch much of it back in the day, but I remember it. And I was always a fan of stop motion animation. I thought, all right, let's see what I remember from this. And that show would never get made nowadays because it plays a lot on stereotypes. I'm kind of impressed that it was made when it was, because it really does take advantage of a lot of stereotypes, like a lot.
Yeah.
But The show is pretty smartly written. There's some really good social commentary in there. They got their wacky hijinks, and then they got their social commentary, just nice and thin. Don't go too deep, don't go too heavy, keep it light. But I watched all 3 seasons. The show got canceled after a 3rd season, which is good because I think 3 seasons is kind of a good run for a show like that. But honestly, it's pretty well done at times. It's really quite smart.
How many episodes was the season?
All in all, it was less than 50 episodes.
Okay.
So it was maybe 12 to 15 or something.
Right.
It seemed like they started with a smaller size season, then they got a little bigger, and then ratings were not good, so they went smaller.
Yeah. Cool.
And
that's expensive to do, right?
It's very expensive. They said that's one of the reasons it got canceled. Low ratings, and it was just expensive, and it takes a long time to put that stuff together. But I'm so fascinated with the behind the scenes details of that. Of course, all the physical work that has to go into the animation and everything. But then also, Eddie Murphy does the voice at the beginning, but then he kind of misses a few episodes, and then towards the end they replace him with somebody else. But they don't really credit the actor. Like his name goes way at the bottom of the list. So there's some weird thing. There's Kramer's lawyer from Seinfeld. He was the replacement.
Jackie
voice.
Childs.
Jackie Childs, yes.
Yeah.
He does a decent job, but he doesn't have Eddie Murphy's range. So it's kind of stinks when Eddie Murphy stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Fun show though.
Yeah, because Eddie Murphy had that period of time there where he wasn't really.
That period of time, late 90s, early 2000s, that's when he was doing the family movies, like the Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
And, Dr. Dolittle, that's the other one I'm trying to think of. Haunted Mansion, stuff like that. He's doing a lot of Disney family movies.
Yeah, so those were making tons of dough. Yeah, I guess he's never really had that much of a lull. I just remember that maybe the early 90s. After the Beverly Hills Cop.
He was big.
He was huge.
For his comedy, for the films he was doing. Then he had some stinkers, but you look back on it and it's like a 5-year period. Something like that.
Because I remember the Nutty Professor was considered a comeback movie for him.
Well, it was a huge success, whether you like the film or not. I've never seen them, but it just made tons of money, super popular.
I haven't seen it since whenever it came out. I watched it once, and I don't even remember if I liked it.
The Hercules kid.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I remember the family was funny in that. He had he played all the different family members. He played the grandma roles. And stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was okay. I don't know. Nutty Professor. Right. That's one. Right. It's the ones where he talks to the animals. The Dr. Dolittle.
That's the Dr. Dolittle.
I've never seen any of those.
I saw. My daughter watched one, and then we rented the second one. I saw part of that, and that was don't waste your time.
Did they do I remember they did a Dr. Dolittle without Eddie Murphy. It was somebody else.
That was I believe it was a straight to DVD. I looked this stuff up when my daughter was watching them, and it was just the daughter from the family.
Right.
So they just continued the series without him.
I was going to say it was French Stewart or someone like that.
That's Home Alone 3, is it?
Did he? But he also did. He also was in Inspector Gadget, right? He was
Inspector Gadget 2.
It was
French Stewart would be the straight to DVD version
of everything.
Of everything.
He just went. Who was it was Broderick,
Matthew
right?
Broderick.
Right. Yeah. Was Inspector Gadget. I've never seen those movies either.
Me neither, but I'm aware of these things even though I've never seen them.
It's funny.
I actually do have a copy of Home Alone 3.
It's funny because it ties into something I was going to talk about. We finished WKRP. Finished watching all the WKRPs. And there's no ending for that show, right? Like they just
last episode.
Last episode, Mama Carlson was going to change the radio station into all talk news format because it was AM radio, and they're like, that's the way of AM radio. And then they changed their mind at the last minute, and that was it. Gone. Done. Because they didn't know, right? That show was always on the bubble, so they didn't really know if it was going to end or not.
Same thing happened to news radio. That one just ends with a cliffhanger.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So the show, we finished that. And then I was talking to Sarah. I was like, you know that they brought the show back. It was called the new WKRP. And that was in like the early 90s. And I remember it not being very good. It was a show that was on in syndication. And it was really, they put it on like Sunday afternoon or something like that. And you could only catch it if, you know, there was no football game, no hockey game, no baseball game. You know, there could be any sports. And then they would air this show. They would air a couple episodes of it. But it was weird because I just, you know, typed in a random episode because they're on YouTube, and it was an episode where Dr. Johnny Fever comes back to the radio station. He wasn't a regular on the show, but he came back, and the guy sitting in his seat replacing him was
French Stewart.
I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And he was like the morning radio DJ guy, and he was like a more, you know, modern version. You know, like he played like you know, that early 90s sound stuff. But the funny thing is I totally forgot this. I'm just watching the opening credits, and at the end, the last person and starring Tawny Katan, I think that's her name, and she just died that day. It was really weird. Like I never thought of that person forever. She passes away. That was the news in the morning. Oh, geez, that sucks. And then boom, there she was in this new WKRP. But yeah, wasn't good. See you, Mrs. Q Dog. Thank you for hanging out with us, Melissa.
Bye, Melissa.
Bill agrees. Yeah, that was rough. That was not a good. Yeah, it was not a good return. They had a nice. It was. I forgot how that original show, it got serious at times because they would adapt the show depending on what time slot they were in. So anytime you think of any of the classic WKRP things like the turkey drop or Les Nessman and his big news intro or doing the helicopter thing and all that, that's all like within the first few episodes of the show. Like maybe within the first 5 episodes, like every classic thing you think of WKRP, boom, right there. But the first season, you know, it keeps up. It's really good. And then things get really weird at the beginning of the second season. Like there's stuff like they're doing all like this experimental stuff and all that. And I was reading up, and that's where the network moved the show. They moved it to a different time slot. So it was a little later at night. So then they decided, okay, let's, you know, try something different than just the regular sitcom thing. And then all of a sudden the episodes get really serious. They start taking on like a serious topic, like they start taking serious topics, you know, and so it gets a little less goofy. And you know, did some more reading on the show, and then I found out that's when they moved the show to after MASH. So MASH was its lead-in. So then they were trying to grab the MASH people in, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say. It sounds like MASH.
Yeah, totally. And then the last season's just goofy because they put them on Friday nights or whatever, and it's like, oh well, who knows if we're going to last or whatever. But it's good show overall. I recommend it.
Cincinnati. It's got one of the best like earworm intros.
Yeah, absolutely. And the outro too. That rockin' song that has no lyrics. It's just that like 30 seconds and boom. That's it. Show's done.
Would you like to know what other films French Stewart has come in for the sequel?
Yes, I do.
I'm just looking at his filmography here. But I see Inspector Gadget 2. I see Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2. He's got a million of them.
I didn't know there was a Beverly Hills Chihuahua 1.
Why? He was on an episode of Seinfeld.
Oh, who was he in Seinfeld?
Episode 86, The Opposite.
opposite. I don't remember him in that one.
Sure. Elaine gets a raise at Pendant Publishing, which is merging with the Japanese conglomerate to avoid bankruptcy, which is publishing Kramer's coffee table book.
Oh yeah, that episode. I haven't seen that. That's one of those episodes I haven't like. I saw like maybe 2 or 3 times. I haven't seen it a billion times.
Where Kramer is on Regis and Kathy.
Yeah. I remember all that stuff, but I don't remember French Stewart on it. There are a few episodes out there where I've only seen less than a half dozen times. There's that one. There's the Puerto Rican parade. I keep missing that one.
That one wasn't aired. After it aired only once, right? And then
did they pull it off the air? It wasn't.
I know that it got a bunch of flack, and I want to say they probably pulled it off of syndication. So that's one that I know I've only seen like once, and then maybe the clips they always show Kramer with the burning flag.
Jeez, I didn't know that. There's some trivia I didn't know. I watch. It's on my DVDs. I can watch it anytime, but I forget. Maybe I need to see French Stewart and Seinfeld. Maybe an image will help.
That was probably that episode like the one right before the finale. It was like one of the last episodes they made.
I think it was in the last season.
It's definitely last season, like probably within the final 5 or so.
I don't remember this at all. He's working he's an usher at a theater. I don't remember that at all.
Well, next time you watch it, you will not be able to unsee French Stewart.
Maybe it's time for me to revisit the whole series.
Oh my.
I forgot too that Rob Schneider was in an episode.
Was he?
Because I retweeted a shady tweet from that guy. He's on my. I don't like him. I don't like that guy anymore. But
as a person or as an
a person, as an actor, he's fine. I don't care. Whatever. As a person, I don't like that guy. Anyways, someone said something about him being on Seinfeld, and I'm like, I totally forgot. He was the guy who couldn't hear, right? It was convenient when he could, he was the guy in the office that couldn't hear. And he seemed to not be able to hear when it was convenient for him, and he seemed to be able to hear when it was convenient for him. And it was a good episode.
You know what? There are so many things from that show that are burned into my head, but at the same time, it's been like 20 years since I've seen it.
Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time we revisit the whole series. I might have
to watch.
Bill says, "Yeah, I got yanked." Puerto Rican. I guess it was the. Thought it was because of the laser pointer stuff. I don't
even remember laser pointer.
That was a bit. Yeah, they didn't want people pointing laser pointers at airplanes and stuff, right?
I don't remember the bit they were doing with that, but I remember buying a laser pointer in the late 90s, and that was a lot of fun.
I never had one.
I still have it. I actually use it at work.
For if anyone gets out of line, pay
attention.
All right, what else is going on?
What else I got? Bill and Ted 3. Bill and Ted Face the Music.
So you watched it?
I did. It came out on video at my rental store.
My goodness.
My wife said, "Hey, I saw that the Bill and Ted movie is out now." So I went over there. And they got their whole wall where they have, all the new releases. And a lot of times when a big new movie comes out, you get a whole section of 3 feet wide. And then the whole way down, it'll be Marvel, and have the whole lineup of, it's the new Iron Man.
It's all like the same movie, right? Like they used to do in Blockbuster.
It's like the whole movie, just like, boom. They got
they still have that there.
Of it.
You can't, that's like ancient history here.
It's convenient to go there sometimes. Yeah. I enjoy it. And it's nice to see. It's nice to see, look at all those movies. Get you excited. But they'll do that, and then they'll put all of the other movies that are related right next to it. So, if a new Terminator comes out, they'll put Terminator 2, Terminator 3. So you can get them all. They put all the Marvel movies up there. I was like, Bill and Ted 3, where is it? I'm looking at the shelf. You go all the way down to the bottom shelf, just one
Oh.
little row, like a little card that says like that talks about the movie, and then there are 5 copies of the movie, 3 of them faced and 2 of them on the spines. And what they do is they have a little clamshell that you can like pull the disc out from the top. Every one of them was full. Nobody was renting this movie. And what made it worse, that day they were having a special where all new movies you could rent like for $1, like the super cheap price. And they were still all there. And Keanu Reeves was super popular in Japan years ago. Like everybody loved him from like the
The
Speed
Matrix.
era
Oh,
and the Matrix. He was just like huge here. Nobody cares about Keanu
wow.
Reeves' Bill and Ted movie. They didn't even have the first 2 movies.
Maybe the humor doesn't translate.
And that's probably it. Plus, you know, he's got his face shaved for this, so he looks like a weird, like
Old dude,
stone-faced old man.
Yeah.
Like I was wondering why he always had that John Wick beard and everything. It's 'cause he's got to hide what's going on under there.
That's why I do it.
Yeah. But I rented it. I brought it home and I watched it, and it's a Bill and Ted movie. You know, I
That's what I
was
heard.
happy. It's if you judge it as like, hey, I'm going to go watch a Bill and Ted movie, that's exactly what you see. You know, there are a lot of fun moments. I laughed out loud quite a few times. And I watched it, and then the next morning I was going to bring it back, and my wife's like, no, wait, I want to watch it. And so she started watching it. I peeked at it, and I ended up sitting there watching it again. I was like, okay, not bad. And it's like 90 minutes, nice short movie. If you want to get super critical, do the movie reviewer thing, it has its problems. It's kind of clunky, and I won't say too much if you plan on watching it, but
I do.
Yeah, I'll just say, like, as a film, it has its problems, but as a Bill and Ted film, it's still fun.
What would you rank the Bill and Ted movies? What order are we putting them in?
This is 3. Like I'm often in debate on 1 and 2 of which one I like more. A lot of times I like 2 more, but then sometimes like you know, well, but the original has some really great moments. 1 and 2 still work perfectly as a duology of just this is the setup, and then sequel comes out, goes in a completely different direction, but still feels great and is a lot of fun. This third one, it has a lot of fun moments. I would watch it again. In fact, at the rental store, I'm pretty sure they're going to throw this on their for sale used DVDs.
Yeah, and you'll be able to get it. Like, bonus for
pick
you.
it right up. No, it's got its issues, but it's fun. I would still consider it, you know, a nice addition to the series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's the best part about it is it's a good time. You know, there's nothing heavy. There's nothing, you know, disastrous or miserable or sad or anything about it. It's just like have a good time.
Yeah. Well, that's what I heard. Was basically it's not going to rock your world or anything like that. But if you're a fan of Bill and Ted, it's more Bill and Ted.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's certainly better than any of the other Bill and Ted things that have come out. The TV shows, the video games. You know, yeah, nice little movie. And I also watched Galaxy Quest again.
Yeah, I watched that not too long ago too.
But one thing that's always bothered me about Galaxy Quest is that if you look, you can see they dubbed over a few lines. There's a couple of moments where they're mouthing one word, but they cover it up with something. Basically, they mouth an R-rated word, and they cover it up with PG.
There was a few of that in that movie.
Yeah, there's a really obvious one with Sigourney Weaver towards the end.
Right.
She's like right there, center frame, giving the F-bomb, and then it's just completely written over. I always thought that was a little weird. And there's a couple of scenes in that movie that feel like they're a little out of sequence or like there's something missing, a little continuity error. like Sigourney Weaver towards the end, she's got this jumpsuit where she's like zipped down a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, and then suddenly, like towards the end of the film, shot later, she's zipped down like all the way to her belly button, just like massive cleavage coming out, and there's no like what happened, why is that there? So I was wondering, like, what did they cut out of this movie? What happened? But I'm watching it, and I've seen the movie a number of times, so I know that it's family friendly. So I'm watching it with my kids, and they're laughing at it. We're all having a good time. I was like, great movie, loved it. And then so I figured, all right, let me do the research, click it out, and apparently, when they shot this movie, it was intended to be a hard R-rated movie. Like that's why you got those scenes where they're swearing so much, and there's a lot of sexual humor that's kind of hinted at and a little bit here and there over the film. But apparently there was a lot more going on in the movie. But at the time that they made it, I forget what it was. Some other movie was out at the time that was doing well, and the exec said, you know what? Let's make this a PG movie. Forget the R, we're going for PG. So they started cutting things out, changing things up. And that's it. That's the movie we got. Which, to the movie's credit, the fact that it got edited so heavily, it's still a really good movie. Like it doesn't feel like it's missing some crucial component, a couple little things here and there. But I'm really curious to see the director's cut, which apparently does not exist. They just don't have that version of the film. So there's like this whole petition of people trying to get the original film to be released. Maybe nowadays these things happen.
Yeah.
So there's always a chance
the Snyder cut
come out with that. Yeah. So it'd be interesting. I really like the movie the way it is, but I could definitely see it as a raunchier film too.
Interesting. I did not know that. I did notice that, there were some swear words that were edited out, but I didn't know it was going to be a hard R. And that was like the trend. That movie came out in like 2000, right?
Late 90s, early 2000s.
That was like the trend then. Like you couldn't even get an R-rated movie in the theaters because they didn't do well. It wasn't like the 80s where, if you wanted to see something like that type of material, you only had 3 channels or maybe 10 if you were lucky. So if you wanted to see something like that, you had to go to the movie theater to see it. But by the late 90s, 2000, everyone had cable. You had Sopranos and HBO and all that stuff. So what was selling at the theaters were family-friendly movies. R-rated films were not.
Well, you got a couple. I mean, The Matrix came out in '99.
There were exceptions.
You had your movies there, but I guess on the whole,
for that stuff, for this science fiction comic book kind of stuff. That's why Deadpool was such a big coup that they pulled that off, right? Yeah, and 40-year-old version. That was like the first to
be a big hit.
Yeah, in a long while. I remember that being a
Well, even within recent years, the Deadpool movie, that was like another hey, you can have a really R-rated comedy.
Comic book movie.
Comic book movie. And, Yeah. Oh, I also watched a Star Wars.
Now,
guess which one?
Well, I was going to ask you if you watched the good one, but the chances are you watched the bad one because there's only 3 good ones and there's many, many bad ones.
3 good ones?
There's 3. Well, 2.5.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking exclusively of contemporary Star Wars.
Well, then there's none.
Post like the Disney Star Wars. That's all.
Well, then you haven't seen a good one then. It's that simple. Which one did you watch?
Well, there are 5, right? Because they did the 3, like the trilogy, and then there's the 2 side story ones, right?
Rogue One and Solo.
Right? And then the 3 movies.
So there's 8. There's 8 of them.
8?
Yeah, because there's the 3 sequels. No. Yeah, I don't know. 6. You're right. Yeah, there's 6.
What?
I'm thinking. Sorry, I was getting confused. There's the prequel.
Okay,
I was thinking of the prequels.
clear, there are
Right.
3 Star Wars movies, the originals. Then you got prequels,
Right.
and now you got Disney's.
Right.
And there are 5 Disney movies,
5
right?
Disneys. Okay.
That's
We'll
what
go
I'm
with that.
thinking.
All right.
Okay. I haven't seen all of them. I'll put
Me
it this
neither.
way. I saw the first one, like the reboot one, and then I saw the terrible Last
Rian Johnson.
Jedi one, that one.
That's the second one.
And then I saw this one that I just watched. And I think the one that I just watched, I probably enjoyed more than the other 2, if that helps.
No.
No? I watched finally the Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's my 3rd time trying to watch it. The first 2 times I could not get past the first like 5 minutes or so. This is the first time I saw the title screen. And as I do, I watch these movies usually in 2 sittings. So about half one day and half the next day. And the first day I was watching, I was like, this is really boring. This is like, I made it this far. I got past the title screen this time. So I'm going to sit here and watch this. And, a couple things would happen. You'd be like, oh, that's neat. And then it just kind of get boring again. And then you see some terrible character. And you're like, all right, what's going on? That's enough for today. The second day I put it on, I started watching it. And I was like, hey, this is kind of neat. Oh, this part's fun. And then there were a couple times where I was actually getting lost in the movie and just enjoying what was going on. And then I realized, like, wait, I don't remember a single thing that happened yesterday from the first half of this movie. It's like, who is this? Like, what's this character's name? What are they doing?
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I was like, all right, it was not. It was all right. It's. I'd say the movie has a lot of things working for it. It's terrible when it tries to connect to the other Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Did you see this one?
I did, like years ago.
This is the one with, like, it's got a lot of the cartoon characters, like the Grand Moff Tarkin and Leia are just like complete CG.
Yeah. Well, and this movie, the ending of this movie, which everybody loves, it was ruined for me because I saw it online. I didn't realize it until I started watching the movie.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the end.
Yeah, the very end. Someone
okay.
posted, like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And it just started playing, like it just started auto playing, and I'm watching it, and it's Darth Vader doing all this stuff and all that, and then the computer CG Princess Leia shows up, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was a pretty good fan thing, I guess. That was neat. And then I start watching Rogue One. It's Rogue One, right? Or Rogue Squadron? What the hell's
One.
Rogue One.
That's the thing. Like towards the end of the movie, when they're doing the big battle, and it's like palm trees and TIE fighters going around, I was like, this feels like Rogue Squadron. This feels like a level out of Rogue Squadron.
So I'm watching the Rogue One, and the computer generated Grand Moff Tarkin shows up, and I'm like, oh my, I think what I saw was the ending of this movie. That computer generated guy looks just as bad as the fan thing I saw online. I'm like, no, it can't be. And then as the movie's going on and they keep showing Darth Vader, he keeps popping up. I'm like, oh, I think I know what's going on. Yeah. And then the end of the movie, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that everything with Vader in the movie was terrible.
It felt like very wedged in, and I really didn't care for it. I didn't care for all those characters and what they were doing and all that. And I'm just like,
no, I mean, the weakest parts of the film are the characters and the whole tying it to the Death Star plans. If it was just some rebels doing something to the Empire, a completely unrelated thing, and you didn't have to force in all the Vader and the Tarkin and all that stuff, you could have had a good, if you made nice characters.
Yeah.
You could have had
but for some reason, it's like that fan fiction thing. Like I remember reading. It was a guy they were interviewing, and he was a writer for one of the Star Trek novels, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, if I'm going to set a Star Trek novel in, say, 1960s, like in the 1960s, right? I'm going to have every character that Star Trek ever did from the 1960s in my book, right? So they'll be, remember Terry Garr was in an episode of the original series. She was in the 60s. Then there was the guy with the cat, the being with the cat, and he was in the 1960s. So those two characters are going to be in his book. And a young Khan Noonien Singh, because he would have been, a young guy in the 1960s until he becomes a, crazy mass murderer in the 1990s. So he's going to be in the book, and just every character that would have this, and that's how he's going to write his Star Trek book. That's going to be published and officially put out as a Star Trek book. Not that you had a great idea for a story. You're just going to grab all these characters because that's what Star Trek fans know, and that's what we're going to put together. And that's what this stuff feels like. It's just like there's a throwaway line in one of the Star Wars movies. We got these, plans at the cost of many lives. Or Han Solo's. George Lucas doesn't know that a parsec is a measure of distance and not time.
Parsec.
Whatever the heck it is. What is it? Parsec? What did I say? Parsec. Whatever the heck it is, and then like they got to make an entire movie about that, explain that. Like that just
is that what the Solo movie is about?
It's one of the things that they fixed.
Did you see that one?
No, I haven't seen it. I just heard that they fixed it because, and it's funny too because I was talking to Duke and he was like, there was like, how in that Solo movie, the front of the Millennium Falcon is all together. Like, how like the Millennium Falcon has those front, and then there's that middle piece. There's a middle piece in that movie. And I'm like, I bet you that middle piece is an escape pod in the movie. And then that's why it looks like the way it does in the other movies. And that's exactly what it is.
That is, yeah.
Like
I learned that by looking at a model kit for it.
Hey, we got Mike Ladano. Check out his show later tonight.
Hey,
he's got
boys.
Sean Kelly from Lee Aaron and Coney Hatch, guitar player, real musician.
Real musicians?
Yeah, that show's getting crazy, man, with all the guests and that. I can only get on that show like once a month because they have like legit guests.
Well, yeah,
all the time.
Real musicians,
real musicians, real people, not like a phony like me.
And like phony who's got to wear cartoon character T-shirts.
That's not a cartoon. That was a legit TV show. Legit. Rocket Sauce is kind of a musician. Well, I know he snores like a musician.
Beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. There's
I wanted to
reference for you.
I wanted to mention. Remember when we were talking about Justice League and the Justice League Zack Snyder cut?
Yes.
And I said I had never seen Justice League.
Yeah.
Well,
you didn't.
Turns out I'm a big fat liar. I did watch it and I completely forgot. Because the whole thing. So after we did that episode, I went on to Red Letter Media and I watched their 40-minute video on the whole thing. And they're talking about stuff. And I'm like, where have I seen this movie, or did I just watch like Red Letter Media videos and I picked up on stuff? So I went on my Letterboxd account and I looked back at it and I did watch Justice League on September 15th, 2018. And I completely forgot about it. And I even wrote a short little review. I said, it's a serviceable comic book movie, but it really strives to be a Marvel film. The humor is forced and the villain is forgettable. I have spelling mistakes in here too. I better fix that. The Flash character has been completely changed in an attempt to hack a Spider-Man type of hero into the DCU. I don't believe we will begin to see good films from DC until they commit to being who they are instead of attempting to copy what is popular.
Do you want to correct yourself for all the mistakes there? Now
What
that you
mistakes?
know that the Flash was Zack Snyder's.
No, I think that's a valid criticism for both Zack Snyder and for what's his name, Josh Duhamel. What's his name?
Josh Whedon, but he didn't change the Flash. That's how Zack Snyder made the Flash.
Doesn't matter.
You just said that they changed him.
No, they changed the Flash from the character from the comic book.
But you said you've never read the comic books and you don't know anything about the Flash.
No, but they changed like who the Flash. I used to watch the Flash TV show back in the day. Remember that Flash
Back in the
TV
day.
show in the 90s? He wasn't like some goofy kid who made jokes like Peter Parker. You know, he was just the Flash. He was a guy. He was Barry Allen.
I don't know anything about the Flash.
Anyways, that's what they copied. They copied Spider-Man. That's what it was. They saw, oh, Spider-Man's like a fun, goofy guy. We got to have a fun, goofy guy in our movies. So let's do that.
Well, it's an
Some of the kids
ensemble, like a team, so you got to hit all the beats.
Yeah. No, and I think it fell flat. They tried to be too much like Spider-Man, instead of just being who they are, just be who you are.
I want to see the Green Lantern come back.
And I also looked back on my list because I was curious about this. Now, this was before I started reviewing movies on here. Mm-hmm. So I just have a rating and a date. But I did. Now, you said I did not like Gremlins 2. But according to Letterboxd, I watched Gremlins 2 October 25th, 2017. And I gave it 4 stars. 4 stars out of 5.
I'm going based off of the episode we did, which was probably 2017 October.
Yeah, it was probably, yeah.
And based on the discussion I remember, you were not impressed.
Well, according to Letterboxd, I was impressed. So I'm going with Letterboxd. I don't care what I said on that episode.
Go back and listen to
I don't care what I said. I care about what Letterboxd says.
We did that episode 2017 with Matt, the LJN Defender, who is no longer the LJN Defender.
We did it. We did the Gremlins episode with him?
Yeah. Didn't we?
I don't remember.
That was the one where he made us watch Sleepaway Camp.
Yes. I do remember that.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
No one will forget. Justice League, forgettable movie. Sleepaway Camp, you will never forget. Never.
I still think about it. Like sometimes when I'm cooking, I still think about that giant pot of corn.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Where's the biggest pot I got? And I pull it out and it's this big, and I'm just thinking,
sticks with you. Sticks with you. Okay, I got just a few things here to mention. I watched a movie called Angry Inuk. It was a documentary about the Inuit people of northern Canada and how they make a lot of their living off of hunting seals. And all these big conglomerate charities. They're like corporations, these charities, like Greenpeace. And there's another one called IW something. I can't remember what it is. But they generate a lot of money out of doing these anti-seal hunting campaigns because they basically manipulate the seal hunt, like the baby seals. There's like a certain type of baby seal that's all comes out all white and they always look like they're crying because they have like tear ducts and the water freezes on their eyes, right? So they always look like they're crying. So they take like photos of these seals and they take dramatic photos of like these seal hunts that are done by the fishing corporations, right? Like the fishing corporations that want to get rid of the seals so the seals don't eat the fish kind of thing. But they take that and they make it like they ban all seal hunting in Canada. Meanwhile, like there are, actual natives of Canada that like this is their only income is basically taking these seals, and they use all the parts of the seals. Like eating seals there, it's like eating cows or pigs or anything, right. They just go out and hunt them in the wild, and they use all the parts of the animal and that they eat the eyeballs, the brains, everything. And then they take the skin, the hide, and they go and sell them. But these conglomerates like drive down the prices of because they bring down the demand for the seal skins, right? Because they shame anyone who wears these seal skins. and so they can make a living if they could sell them for $50. That's at the best they get to $100, but for the most part, these things sell for like $10 a piece, which they can't make a living off of. It's enough to pay for their gas for their snowmobile to go around and hunt the seals. But it was a really eye-opening documentary. It's really well done. It's called Angry Inuk, and it was on Amazon Prime here in Canada. I'm not sure if it was anywhere else, but it was really well done. And she tries, like the person making the documentary, she tries to talk to like Ellen DeGeneres, who, does a lot of stuff for Greenpeace and for this anti-seal hunting thing and all that. And can't get her to talk, can't get like anyone like official. They go like to a lot of the stuff is done in Europe, because that's like really where the trends in fashion stuff are. And they actually ban the stuff in these European countries. So they can't sell the stuff to any of the European countries. And it was just a really eye-opening thing. Like, and they have them on tape. Like they have like these people from Greenpeace and whatnot on tape saying that like they basically just use these things just as a moneymaker because it's so easy to make money, right? If they want to save like a legit endangered species that's ugly looking, they can't make any money off it. But if you put cute little baby seals on there, that generates money. The seals, those cute little those they don't hunt. They don't hunt those. Those are like a species that's banned. They can't hunt them. They hunt like a different type of seal, but all seals are banned. All seal huntings are banned. Any seal skin they can't sell, right? And what was my other point? Oh, I can't remember. And the seals are not endangered. They're not an endangered species, right?
No, there are tons of them. They're all over.
They're supposed to be out there saving endangered species. None of these seals are endangered. They just, they're all over the place. It's, so.
Yeah, you see footage every once in a while, people saying like, oh, they're overpopulated, and you just see like just dozens and dozens.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you buy a seal skin from a legit Inuit person in Canada, you're doing okay. You're fine. The person that got the seal skin to you is used the entire animal.
Yeah, it is shaky ground. I mean, when you see somebody with fur, I think nowadays it is just the gut, knee-jerk reaction of like, hey, who did you murder?
Right.
What did you do that for?
Yeah.
But you go back to the times of the buffalo, the same thing. The Native Americans hunting buffalo and eat that meat, use those bones, use that skin, everything gets used, And
but who wiped out the buffalo? It was a white man who just went in and like, oh, we got to clear this area. We don't want any buffalo eating the grass for our cows.
Put a Starbucks here in 100 years.
We'll just kill them all. Like that's, who killed the dodo? A white man. It's all white people. Anyways,
so you're gonna go out and start snapping seal necks?
I'm just saying, if I see someone wearing sealskin, I'm not gonna be upset.
Well, maybe you think
because I understand.
I understand
I understand the economy of how everything worked and how that sealskin got there. So it wasn't like somebody just killed a seal, ripped off its skin, and put it on the truck, and then went off and killed another. And I understand it. I understand what's going on.
Meat is murder.
And they can't like anytime. It's crazy because these people live so far away, right? So anytime there's going to be something happening in Toronto where they could meet with the other side and explain their case and get like some sort of dialogue going. So they have to make like a special trip down to Ottawa and then take a bus from Ottawa all the way down to Toronto. And then they get there and the other side just cancels the meeting because they can just do it next week, right? They all just live down in Toronto.
Bill, cows of the north.
Yeah, that's the
easiest way to put it. Somebody starts barking at you for wearing a seal fur. They're probably sitting there eating a hamburger
or chicken or whatever. It's the same thing. Same thing.
Except those animals don't have every part of them used. What do they do with leftover cow bits?
It's a classic. It's a classic story of just a corporation that comes in, needs to make money, and who do they make money off of? The little guy. Little guy gets screwed in the end. Okay, I also watched the movie The Fog. Have you ever seen The Fog? John Carpenter's The Fog.
No, but I have seen parts of The Mist. We talked about that before.
Yeah, I'd say The Mist was better than The Fog, and I didn't like The Mist very much. No, yeah, The Fog, I didn't really care for it too much. Great soundtrack. It's the John Carpenter usual soundtrack. When you hear it, you'll know it. Yeah, digital kind of sound that he does. And it's a great idea where this fog comes in and all these ghosts live in a fog kind of thing. But it invades this town and everyone in the town is kind of boring. And you're kind of glad when the ghosts get them and kill them because you're like, oh, that's good. One less boring character. So I don't know. I didn't really care for it, but I was wondering what other people, because I think John Carpenter might be just a one-hit wonder for me. I think there's The Thing, and I don't mind Escape from New York, like parts of it, but I don't think John Carpenter's done anything else that I've seen that I've enjoyed. I can't think of one.
John Carpenter, you got The Thing.
Yeah. Big Trouble in Little China.
Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh, that one was good. Okay.
You got
I did like that one.
And then it's like They Live, Escape from New York.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. Didn't like I didn't like Halloween. Sorry, Rocket Sauce.
Halloween, yeah.
I know people love that movie, but that radio station though. Yeah, there was a radio station. There's a radio station WKRP. It was nice looking. I'd hate she had this radio station built in a lighthouse, which was neat looking for the movie, but it's totally impractical. Like she had to bring all of her stuff down all these stairs and walk to like hundreds of stairs to get to this thing every day. It would drive me nuts. No thanks. Anyways. That's pretty much it. When I finished WKRP, I started on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. So Sarah and I are watching that. So we're on season
Mary Tyler Moore Show. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to watch it when I was a kid. Like it was on in reruns. So it was one of those shows that I'd watch with my mom. And, it's silly, goofy. A lot of 70s styles to look at and that. But it's, takes place part of the show takes place in a television station. So, my TV nerd comes out when I'm watching it and pointing out all the errors and everything like that.
That's not how they do it.
That's right. Yeah. Like there was one scene where they're on set in the television studio and, they're doing a political show. And when they would go to commercial, the floor director would say, and cut. And they're in commercial. You don't say cut. You're not cutting anything. There's no film to cut. It's not cut. You say you clear. You're clear. You're not on camera anymore. You're clear. We're in commercial break.
But the average audience member understands what cut means. They wouldn't understand what clear means.
You say clear. You don't say cut. And then when they come back at a commercial break, and Ted Knight is on camera getting ready to say his thing, and he says, and action. You don't say action. Nobody says action. There's no action. You're a news reporter. You're not acting. You're not moving forward or anything.
Act.
Well, some of them do, but not Ted Knight. Actually, he does. You don't say action. You say you're up. You're up. You're on air. You're up. So come on. Some realistic. I need some realism in my 1970s sitcom.
Oh gosh, the worst kind of YouTube videos that I hate seeing show up in the feed, and I never watch any of them. There's so many that show up. Is when it's like actual lawyer responds and reacts to The Measure of a Man. Actual stunt people react to great CGI, and I hate this so much. Like, just forget it. It's entertainment. Stop nitpicking every little detail.
I don't know. I think I would find that interesting, but every time I click on one of those videos, I see that they're like 20 to 30 minutes long, and I'm like, no thanks. Like, I think it would be kind of interesting, like if they actually had like someone from the EPA in to see, to talk about Walter Peck. I think that would be interesting. I'd watch that. But 20 or 30 minutes, come on, cut it down. Just give me the gist of it in 5 minutes. You can do that. Smarten up.
Everybody needs to feel special. Everybody needs to say, oh, I know this. I can tell you why all that Hollywood schlock is wrong.
Well, it is. I don't know. I always do that. Anytime there's like a movie based on real events, I always go and check to see how real they, like how much they stuck to the actual events. What they changed. I
understand that they need to do things for entertainment.
Yeah, but I find it interesting. I find that interesting, like how or why.
Last night on the news, they were showing footage of this joint operation between the Japanese JSDF, U.S. military, and French military. They were doing like operations together, and they're showing footage of them coming down the helicopter and doing zip lines, running across the field and stuff. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? If this were a Hollywood film, this would be edited so much cooler. And it would look like so, it would snap in and everything. I'm looking at this and I was like, yeah, this reality isn't so interesting. You need the theatrics.
Yeah, but I like that. I like to find out like how and why they change stuff and all that. Like I find that stuff interesting. I find it interesting. Like, in the movie Private Parts, Howard Stern's nemesis and that is pig vomit. But on the air, he always called him pig virus. And you're like, well, why is he called pig vomit in the movie? And he's called pig virus on air all the time. And it's because they actually took two guys and put them together because it would have been too much to have two different guys for Howard to fight against. So to make the movie. So I find that stuff interesting. I'm like, okay, that's a cool idea. And they couldn't use pig virus because that wouldn't be right. So you got to call him pig. You got to change his name for the movie.
I have no problem with changing things and understanding why they change things.
Yeah.
It's just I don't like when people put on their snooty nose in the air critics hat and be like, that's not it right.
I like that
That's
stuff.
not how you do it.
I find it interesting. They just got to make those videos shorter and then I'll watch them, or at least do a movie that I'm really interested in. Like they'll be talking, I don't know, talking about Aaron Brockovich or something. I don't care about that. Give me something I care about. Come on. All right. We've been talking for an hour and 26 minutes. That's enough. It's enough of us for 2 weeks. We can go away. And we'll be back in 2 weeks because we are better consistent than STC Pod. Those guys, they just do a show whenever, willy-nilly. We're here every 2 weeks. Friday, doing a show. And I might as well give Bill a shout out for his show later tonight, the Vinyl Collection. Vinyl Collectors on tonight at 8 p.m. I will be awake for half of that episode. I'll be awake from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So check that out tonight. Get a boner with Retro Fandango and go check out our Discord channel. I should go look and see if anything's moved over there. I haven't gotten a notification, so I'm guessing nothing's happening over there. Which is fine. It's fine. Nothing happens here. Yeah. Nothing happens there. Nothing's happening.
I'm just here to stuff to happen.
I'm just here to talk to Richard. That's it. There's no other reason. I'm not here to entertain anyone or anything. I'm just here.
One of these days, we're gonna even forget to hit the record button.
We could do that. We could just talk. We don't have to do a show.
Good.
Why not?
I'm really in the mood to watch the first Star Trek, the motion picture. We could talk about that. We'll watch.
Yeah, I want to watch the director's cut again. But
That's what I got.
I want it to come out on Blu-ray. Well, maybe we should. We'll watch it again. I'll watch that again.
We were supposed to have done this with a cup of tea and another individual, but
he got an offer to be on a better show to talk about his vinyl records. So that's where we ended up.
Well, because look, I got a cup of tea.
Some Star Trek.
I got nope. That's
we could just do it without him.
Yeah, I got my my director's cut. Right
That's
here.
one I got. Oh, you got a clear case. How'd you score that?
Clear case?
Yeah.
I mean a clear case.
Oh, is it white? Your case.
It's white. Yeah.
White, and it's thin.
Yeah.
You got a
Yeah,
thin
I
white
know.
case.
I've got the
I got a thick black case.
I got a couple of these.
Yeah, that's what I got.
This one, yeah,
Nice thick black earthy one.
I have. I'm missing a couple. I have motion picture like this, and then in that thicker case, I've got Wrath of Khan, Voyage Home, Undiscovered Country, Generations, and First Contact. So I'm missing 3, and I'm missing 5. And then I do have a copy of Insurrection somewhere. It's not up here.
Well, you need 3. 3 is part of the arc.
I haven't found it. I got to get 3, and gosh, it's been so long since I've seen part 5.
If you watch 5, watch it, and then you have to watch William Shatner's audio commentary on it, because it is something
it's
else.
more entertaining than the film.
Absolutely. Like, just to hear how delusional he was about that movie, like the stuff that he had planned in his head for that film, and how it didn't come together, and how he takes absolutely no responsibility for how terrible the movie turned out. It's so entertaining, so good. It's him and his daughter, I believe. You gotta check it out.
His daughter.
I think so.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You know what bugs me about these commentaries?
What grinds your gears?
I'm sorry, Sarah. I know. You figure they do a commentary on one of these things. It's going to be the commentary that goes on with the disc and is sent out all over the place, and then they're really not going to do another one.
You're right.
I hate when they can't get everybody that you want to hear on there. I know people have schedules and stuff, but it still bothers me that Dan Aykroyd is not on the commentary for Ghostbusters. Like,
it is weird that he's not there.
You couldn't get Dan Aykroyd to talk more about Ghostbusters?
He seems to be up for anything, but that commentary is excellent.
It is good.
Harold Ramis.
You got Harold Ramis, you got Reitman, and you got a producer.
Howard something or other.
Somebody else. And they do a great job. But
yeah,
I can understand you don't get Bill Murray. I can understand maybe you don't invite like Annie Potts and Ernie Hudson, try to get everybody in there. But no Dan Aykroyd? Come on.
Yeah, that is odd. You know what a good one is? Weird Al did a really good job with his for UHF, and he had people come in to, so like
like for your part,
not for your part, but just come in for like 10 minutes or whatever, talk a little bit, and then get the frack out of there. So it was him and someone else. They were kind of like the host, so it was almost like a side show kind of thing. And then Michael Richards would come in, for like 10 minutes and just talk a little bit about the movie and the experience and all that. And then they'd get out of there and then move on to the next one. It was good. It was really good commentary. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I better go before Sarah comes down and gets upset. So thank you everyone for listening and chiming in. I guess we just had Sauce and Bill and Melissa was here for a bit, and Mike was here for a bit, and Sarah just yelled at me to come and eat. That's enough. That's all we need.
There you go.
That's plenty. I'm happy with all that. All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yep. Did it again. How long shall I stay like this?
Bye.